You guys see that? Do you guys see that? Yes. That right there is why I will never, mark my words, I will never buy a non-Terminator 4-valve 4.6 liter ever again, period. This right here is why I sold my Marauder when I had it. This right here is why I will never buy a Marauder again in my life. This right here is why I will never buy a Marauder or Mach 1 non-Terminator 4.6 liter 4-valve ever again in my life. So I'm out here in the middle of, I don't know where, Kentucky. Just got back from Panther Fest, had a great time. Drove 13 hours up to New York, and we were about halfway down to Tennessee. All we had was 4 hours to go, just 4 more hours. Next thing you know, I'm driving this car and I start hearing a knocking noise. That knocking noise gets a little bit louder. Then sure enough, I hear a loud boof. And then it looks like James Bond just activated the smoke screen on his Aston Martin, because all you can see is just a cloud of white blue smoke behind my poor Mach 1 Crown Vic. Now the car left me stranded a few times on the way up to New York. It was starting to give me a few issues on the way down to New York, but I had faith. I had faith. I had faith that the old Mach 1 was not gonna do this to me. But let's face it, it's that old, outdated, non-Terminator 4-valve that they used in the 99 Cobra, and of course in the 03-04 Mach 1, and it was in the earlier Lincolns as well. So I told myself, twice this car got sketchy with me on the trip to New York for Panther Fest. Twice I told myself, you know what? On this trip, this 4-valve, this Marauder 4-valve, it's gonna prove itself. It's gonna prove itself. I'm gonna champion this thing. I'm gonna take back everything I ever said about Marauders and their shitty 4-valve engines. I'm gonna take it back, and you know what? I'm gonna redeem it. I'm gonna make a video talking about, hey, this shit proved me wrong. I drove to New York and back, and it made it. I was very optimistic. I had a lot of faith. The taxi made it. The 2-valve taxi made it. It went through all the craziness that we were doing up here in New York. The 2-valve taxi made it. But no, not the Mach 1 Marauder powered Vic. So join me on the side of the highway as I wait for a tow truck to tow me from Kentucky to Tennessee. You guys, all the math wizards out there, do the math on that. Figure out how much that's going to cost me. It's going to be a pretty penny. But I'm not worried about that. Let's see. I haven't opened the hood yet. Let's experience this together. This is going to be a religious experience. This is going to be a coming to Jesus moment. Let's experience this together. I can't wait. It's like unwrapping a Christmas present from your deadbeat dad who you haven't heard of in like 5 years. You finally got picked up by the NBA, and this motherfucker wants to reach out to you now. Let's see what kind of shitty present dad got for us. Daddy Marauder. Hey, there we go. Move over, law my ass, right? Nobody gives a shit. Alright. Live and in color, baby. Daddy, what'd you get me? What'd you get me, Daddy? Ooh, smells like oil. It smells like oil. Let's see here. At a glance, she looks fine. Right? Such a pretty engine too, man. What a shame. We still got coolant in here. Let's check the oil levels. Let's see what we got. Let's check this out. Holy crap, what a dipstick got bent in half. Jesus. We still got oil though, it looks like. We got oil right where it should be. Let's see here. Let's see. Alright, let's do a little test. Let's see if this motherfucker will turn on and what happens when it turns on. Here we go. Go ahead. There you go, folks. There's your Marauder for you. Woo-hoo-hoo! All right, let's see what the front side does. Crank her up. Listen to that baby purr. piece of shit. I don't know if you guys can see it. The smoke coming out the air filter. These cars are notorious for having piston issues. In this case, I'm almost, damn, this thing is still smoking. I'm almost, damn, better make sure this thing won't catch on fire, although, no. Anyways, it looks like it might be some kind of piston ring failure. Either way, it's not something, you know, we wake up in the morning wanting to deal with. Now, Marauders aren't the only cars, especially Panther cars, to experience piston failures and blowing engines and any of it. There's plenty of 2 valves out there that are literally blowing up every day. But what I'm trying to say is that the ratio of 2 valves exploding as opposed to 4 valves, not just any 4 valve, we're talking about just the old cheap, because Ford cheaped out with these damn cars. Ford gave the Marauder just the shaft and just gave them it's literally a parts bin car. They should have given it the Terminator engine. That's what they should have done. Supercharged 4 valve, everything's forged, everything is ready to handle power, to handle boost, to take the abuse. No, they threw in some cheap ass, reused, rearranged, pretty much the equivalent of a gorilla with makeup on, old 4 valve from the mid 90s Lincoln Mark 8 and then the later 99 Cobra. Reworked it a little bit here and there and slapped it on a Mach 1, and then of course they slapped it on a Marauder. Obviously this is a Crown Victoria, but same concept applies. And this thing's gonna get towed. I might rebuild it, or I might just say, you know what, it's a Vic at the end of the day. Maybe put a Vic engine back in it. Maybe mess with that a little bit better. Maybe give that a little bit more power. I think it's still fixable, but for now, this mofo is gonna sit. Everybody that knows the Mach 1 Crown Vic, they know how sick this thing was, how badass it was. This thing would scream, and you know what? It took me, at least it took me to Niagara Falls. It took me all the way there. It was a valiant effort. It was a valiant effort. It will sit now until I can find maybe a 2 valve to put in it, or rebuild that. That's all it is, guys. Just a little PSA. Be proud of your 2 valves. You're not missing out with the Marauder. You're not missing out with this outdated reused Cobra engine. What we need to start doing is swapping them. If you're not gonna power up your 2 valve, what you need to do is just give it a big FU and just swap out the engine. Put a Coyote, put a Terminator in there, put a proper Cobra Terminator engine, or I got something else planned that's gonna piss people off a whole lot more than my hatred for this engine. With that being said, this will be the official press F to pay your respects for the Mach 1 Crown Vic. It was a valiant effort. She will hibernate for now. This won't be the last time you see this car. Maybe next time you see it, it'll be a lot more nastier than what it is now. Well, figured I'd give you guys a little update. It's the next day. Got home around 4 in the morning. Had to wait for the tow truck driver to get here. It cost $1,500 to get this car towed from Kentucky to Tennessee. And for anybody wondering exactly what the issue is with the Mach 1, we've all come to the conclusion that it blew a piston ring. Now, that's just looking at it from a glance. It's just a rough examination, a rough diagnosis. But to get a detailed explanation to what happened to this car, the engine's gonna have to come off. It's gonna have to be looked through. Every nook and cranny needs to be examined for any kind of damages that might have occurred when the engine decided to go. Now, is this car worthy of a revival? Is this car worthy of a comeback? Absolutely, 100,000%. The only issue I have with is that I can no longer have a Mach 1. This can't be a Mach 1 Crown Vic anymore, because in order to qualify as a Mach 1, it will need to run on the Mach 1 engine. Pretty much the same engine that got me in this situation to begin with. You guys know me, I make it very clear how I felt about this particular engine, and I've been doing this for years. Everybody here on this channel is used to seeing Ford engines in a Panther car, whether that's a Crown Vic or a Mercury Marauder or any other kind of car that I've featured on this channel. So what I'm trying to say is that the Mach 1 will no longer be a thing. This concept, this design is gonna die with that engine. Because if I'm being honest with you guys, I can rebuild this engine. It could be rebuilt. The Mach 1 a Crown Vic could be back out on the streets. But for the amount of money it's going to cost me to either replace or to rebuild this 4-valve, if I'm being honest with you guys, I think we can do a little bit better. So I want you guys, really quick, we're going to do this one more time. I want you guys to take a good look at the world's first and last Mach 1 Crown Vic. Let's do a quick little 360 of it, because this is the last time you will see this car in this current form. You guys know me, I don't want to recycle. I don't want to keep reusing the same ideas, the same concepts. I like to innovate. I like to elevate the Panther platform the best way that I can. Get creative, just do weird, exciting, provocative shit with it. So we'll come around this side. Let's take it all in together, guys. Breathe it all in. This car will no longer be a thing. This body, this platform, it'll live on. I'll probably throw a 2-valve back in this thing, but this car will serve as an organ donor. This car will serve as an organ donor. Certain pieces of this car will live on. Those beautiful eyes, take a look at those eyes. They are telling me that they want to live. They will be transplanted into something else. This hood that people spent so much time on will live on in something else. The wheels, yes, those SVE Mach 1 wheels, 315s in the back. Believe me, they will continue to have a life outside of this car. Don't even get me started on this interior. I mean, just this interior will also live in a new car. We'll make our way to the back, the infamous rear end of this thing. This sexy, beautiful, big old ass right here. Well, at least the taillights and the rear trunk will also live on in a new car. Bits and pieces of the Mach 1 will in fact live on and continue to hoon and breaknecks wherever it goes. But I am done dealing with the 4-valve engine. It ends with this platform and ends with this car. From now on, I'm sticking strictly with built 2 valves. And well, let's just say that I'm experimenting with something else that might piss off a lot of people. So when I get bored, when I get a wild hair up my ass, eventually I'll revisit this car. It's gonna sit probably right there while I harvest its organs. I'm gonna harvest the valuable, iconic, recognizable parts of that Mach 1, and the rest will sit waiting. Who knows what I'll build next with the old Mach 1, but for now, its pieces are gonna live on in something else, and I think that car is gonna be just as, if not even more legendary, more iconic more crazy than you guys could ever imagine. So maybe this thing dying was a good thing. Either way, let me know in the comment section down below. Am I an idiot? Should I rebuild it? Just really blown piston rings, bro? Like, you don't have an extra $2,500, $3,000 to just bring this thing back to life? Is it worth spending that, guys? Should I just throw a 2-valve in there? Or should I try to innovate the channel a little bit? Try to do a little bit something different and maybe go outside of Ford manufacturing and see if we can get some real power. See if we can get some real crazy numbers out of the Panther platform. Let me know, comment section down below. I want to hear your ideas, and believe me, I don't think you guys have a clue as to what is lined up, what is sleeping in that barn. Oh my god, you guys are going to be in for it. Either way, stay away from the 4 valves. I warned you. Mr. Random warned you. You're not going to listen to me. You're going to hate on me in the comments. You're going to hate on me on social media. It's all good. Eventually we all learn. Catch you guys in the next one.